Hello, nerds.
Hello, geeks.
Hello, gamers.
Hello, dweebs.
Hello, fanboys.
Hello, fangirls.
Hello, fan persons.
Of all races, genders, and creeds.
Welcome to another episode of Meanwhile Back on the Podcast, the only podcast show that will never refer to the X-Men as X-Persons. I'm Frank.
Christina.
I'm Chris.
I'm Saba.
Coming up on today's show, Saba, Christina, Chris, and I dive into representation. Saba drops a serious gem about the double standards in the entertainment industry when it comes to male-led blockbusters and female-led blockbusters. And Christina rocks out a pitch-perfect Xena war cry. All this and more on this episode of Meanwhile Back on the Podcast. So stay with us.
Meanwhile, back on the podcast, four colossal nerds named Saba, Chris, Christina, and Frank have set out to take on a great darkness that has enveloped the world of fandom. With their powers of common sense and the strength to take on even the most butthurt Twitter mobs and insufferable comment section trolls, they fight for truth, objectivity, and nuance in the conversation and debate over fictional made-up shit.
And we're going to talk about representation today. We're going to jump right into representation. And this is the hot topic within fandom and nerddom. Everybody's discussing it. It's obviously a big part of Marvel and DC as of late. Even Star Wars, even Star Trek. It's been everywhere. It's huge, and everybody has a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings. So we're going to jump into it. So I'll start off and I'll say that I'm starting to feel like there's more of a business case behind representation than people are willing to acknowledge. I really feel like there is a large marketing department of people, and they've been analyzing this data over the last 4 or 5 years, and they're starting to see these trends, and they're starting to see opportunities to increase revenue and make profit. And I don't know, guys, what do you think? Like, do you guys think this is all genuine, like what we're getting from Marvel and DC and all these companies, or do you think that there's a business case behind it?
I definitely think that there's a definite cash in, and I think like these things should be done definitely. Diversity should be done the right way, and that's in the drawing board, in the creative room, and not the boardroom, not the cash in on hate and cash in on the two sides of the argument and fueling. I think it should be done the right way, because it's like it means more when it's done through, and I think like that's the direction we're going on anyways. It's like more we're getting films like with more diversity and even just shows with more diversity, and that's happening the right way. I think if we just wait it out and not cash in on just like controversy and like big sweeping moves that like puts people off.
So I'm kind of like 50-50 on this. So I think I agree with you that, yeah, it's definitely a cash in 100%. I mean, an example outside of sort of Marvel, DC, sort of nerdom fandom is Crazy Rich Asians. That movie made millions and millions. It's not because the story was brand new. I mean, we've seen the story before, but it had an all-Asian cast. People could identify with this cast.
Right.
And that sort of changes is, I think, pretty awesome. I 100% do agree. It's definitely in the boardroom. Obviously, here's the thing. It's Hollywood. It's a business.
Yep.
DC is a business. Marvel is a business. They want to make money.
100%.
But where I see people being genuine is when I see the actors and the directors. And like you said, in sort of those creative rooms, those people I feel are genuine about these stories.
Yeah,
and that is what
100%.
makes a difference for me. I can 100% get behind, like, yeah, they want to make money. 100%. Phase 4 of Marvel, you'll see. Like, they were probably waiting on the success of Black Panther and Captain Marvel, and they were able to release this new Phase 4, which I'm super excited about.
Yep.
But it would be naive to say they weren't looking at numbers.
Yeah.
I think we have to look at why this is causing us to earn more money. It's because people have been shouting at the comic book industry in Hollywood and saying, you're underrepresenting us, you're misrepresenting us, we're not being seen or heard, we feel invisible, we want roles where we're not being stereotyped. And I do think that they're trying harder to kind of open up the space for everyone. And I think that that's why we're seeing more bums in seats and more people being included in the audiences of these movies. I do agree with Chris, obviously, that the correct way to do it is create new stories and
Well, no, the source material is out there.
Yeah, it
Black
definitely
Panther
exists, yeah.
is out there, and and
Shang-Chi is out there.
yeah,
Storm.
and like Wanda's out there, like it's there, right? It's
They can tap into other characters, but
Yeah.
I guess what we're seeing is the argument that those aren't as big names. People aren't familiar with those characters, and the reason why they're kind of changing genders and color of people on screen is just so we can kind of cash in on big franchises that already exist instead of
No,
waiting.
but I
for
think
those
that's
new
the wrong
stories.
move,
I'm not
though.
Yeah.
saying I'm not saying that they're only doing it just to cash in. I'm saying that like there's legitimate reasons to do this, okay? Black Panther has an amazing story. He's an amazing character, okay? Is his circle or his peer circle around him, his sister, his mother, they all have really rich stories and they're really good. And obviously the backdrop of Africa is a character itself, and it has this rich dimension, and it's fantastic,
And
right?
it's awesome that they chose Black Panther
I
when
think so,
they
too.
did. They didn't have to
Yeah.
choose Black
They-
Panther.
Black
I
Panther
think
was
so,
going to
too.
be made no matter what. Black Panther is part of the original Avengers. They were going to make Black
Yeah.
Panther no matter what.
Yeah.
But you got to realize that like at the early stages, or if we're gonna take Marvel as like I guess like as an example, the early stages of the Avengers, like they were you got to remember their first movie was the Hulk, and that wasn't a financial that wasn't a financial success that Iron Man was. So they were testing the waters, sure. And Black Panther came later than I would have liked for sure because he was part of the original. But like they got him, they brought Black Panther out not as a statement, but because he's a major character in the comics.
I mean,
Which
it's
is the
cool
right
that
thing
they
to
gave
do.
him
Also a
a
statement.
franchise and a series of films. Like, I didn't think that they were. It's awesome that they did that.
And you
So
can
that's-
say that
was
they
my point.
weren't making a statement, but I 100% think they were, especially with the character of Killmonger. If you're like actually going into it, I mean that whole thing.
Okay, so that like so the
Which I-
thing. Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
sorry.
sorry, which I understand it can be a little different than the source, but yeah.
No. The thing is, like, Black Panther is definitely about. So, Black Panther was created around the civil rights movement. So, like, Black Panther was actually he was created like in our world, not in the
Yeah,
the
in
Marvel world.
response to
It was about the civil rights movement. So that movie being political is exactly how it should be because that's how it was in the source material. So what I'm saying is that they didn't take Black Panther and say, oh, people are gonna hate this movie, but we're gonna do it because we're making a statement. That's not like people are gonna love this movie because Black Panther is.
Oh
a
no, I don't
huge
think
part.
people were gonna hate it. I'm pretty sure they knew it was gonna sell, especially like because like a lot of people went to go see Black Panther, and this is when we look at diversity. Like they're attracting a lot of new audiences. Like a lot of people who went to go see Black Panther probably didn't see like Marvel movies before. The same thing could be said for Wonder Woman, and the same thing could be said for Captain Marvel.
Wait, what? What about them?
That you're pulling in new audiences. You know, like not everyone.
Wonder Woman is kind of not part of that because Wonder Woman is a big character.
No, she's a big character, but I think they pulled in a lot of women to go see that movie who
Oh,
may
okay, yeah,
may
sure.
have not have seen a DC
Yeah.
movie. Same with Black Panther. Like I don't think everyone who went to go see Black Panther like what is a big huge Marvel fan. Like, you know, to sort of be caught up in the Marvel universe, you have to have watched like 20 something movies. So I think, you know, with sort of your point, like having in diversity and adding all that in, you're getting a new audience as well. And it sort of leads back to, yeah, like this is making us more money.
But it's sort of to me. Maybe you can correct me, but to me it sounds like you're saying that the MCU is like inventing this diversity as if it didn't
Oh,
exist.
I'm not saying that.
Okay, so
I do not mean they're
so why are
inventing.
you saying that they're pulling in new audiences? So they released Captain America,
No, I'm saying as a result of making these
Yeah, okay,
movies,
yeah.
they're
They're
going to
pulling
be
in-
pulling in,
which
like,
is good. Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I think the point that Sab is trying to make is that like a film is going to be a lot more attractive, especially in comparison to like doing something this socially motivated through a comic book, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it has a much wider reach, right? Like
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
you know, it has a much wider reach. But the one thing that we're forgetting about Black Panther is we're not talking about the fact that he was introduced in Civil War too, right? Like he was literally introduced in a Marvel film. So without a doubt, that was a test. If there had been like people on Twitter like, oh my God, I fucking hate Black Panther after Civil War, like he was the worst character, T'Challa sucked, Chadwick Boseman sucked, blah 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 blah, we never would have got the Black Panther movie.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like
I
it was
don't-
in
I don't agree with
production.
that.
Yeah.
No, guys, come on. Like if he wasn't
Yeah,
in,
I don't-
okay,
I think we
if he
would
didn't
have.
do well in Civil War the way that he did, because he did great in Civil War, right? There's no way they would have made that movie. There's no fucking way.
I mean, there's probably no way to like. So you're saying if the audience didn't test well to his character,
Yes.
that's just the way movies work. If a character does, so Spider-Man was introduced in that movie too.
Right. And he did fantastic.
Yeah. So
so did Black Panther.
were they
All the
were they
characters did
testing
great.
out?
Yeah.
Were they testing out Spider-Man to see?
100%.
I don't
So-
think they even had to test out
100%.
Spider-Man. There's
I don't think
there's so many
see,
Spider-Man movies that they already knew that
I
one
also
would
don't think
be
they have to test
successful.
out Black Panther because Black Panther is super essential in the comics.
Okay. But what
I think
okay,
that movie would have been made regardless. I
Regardless,
think it would
yeah,
have to be
exactly.
made because they have like the phases
Okay,
plan
well,
and the story plan.
Okay, but what did they do with Spider-Man in this movie that was different than all of them?
In the newest one?
They turned
casted
him into a kid.
Yeah, they casted
Yeah.
Right?
a young kid. Yeah.
They had to test that. There was no way they were going to do that with a $150 million dollar budget
Right.
and try and see if it
Okay,
works, right?
so-
they had to test it.
I 100% agree with you that they put him in there and they looked at the numbers, whether or not he's like the fans reacted well to him.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's why they casted like they wrote those two in the script. There's no way that they said that they because especially Black Panther and not
Right.
and not Peter Parker. Black Panther was really essential to that plot. There's no way they said rewrite your entire script so that we can test the character.
Yeah,
right?
and
they
we-
wrote that
Good
script
point.
with him
Good
in
point.
And we
mind.
have
He
to
did.
think about-
He did play a
Like
pivotal role. in
maybe
that movie.
Peter Parker.
He did
Maybe
play a
I'm
pivotal
willing to
role.
give you that because
Okay,
Peter
that's a
Parker
good point.
played. Yeah.
But
No, that's a
that's
good
a good
point.
point because the thing is when you think
That's
about
a
like
good point.
Endgame and sort of like the importance of like vibranium like moving forward and all that
Yeah.
that is really based in Wakanda and the tech. So there's like a lot that was feeding off of that. So I think that movie had to be made and
Yeah.
I think
And it was going to be made no matter what.
Do you guys
And they
remember
made
when
it-
Wakanda
they
was
also
first
took the-
mentioned? Do you guys remember when Wakanda was first
Wakanda,
mentioned?
yeah, because they mentioned it while looking through something and someone
Age
was
of
like, well,
Ultron.
Yeah.
yeah, and it was like,
Yeah.
what's Wakanda? It was Mark
was Mark Ruffalo.
who said it.
And he totally buttered. Well, obviously that's
Well,
in the script, but he buttered the name of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He like stuttered for a second, but even Ulysses Claw, that was the entire like they like pretty much like teased that
Yeah.
teased Captain America because Ulysses Claw was the bad guy for. Okay, so I do have to say that like I really love it when they introduce a character in an existing movie and then like introduce him later in his own movie because I love that completeness of this world where it's like, yeah, Black Panther exists in this world. I'm gonna introduce him in my Captain America movie and then give him his own movie after because it's like you establish him as part of the universe and not just a standalone. Anyway, so you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I think they took a lot of effort to make it politically correct so that it would come across the right way to the audiences that they were trying to tap into. And I think that was really important for that
Yeah,
movie.
for sure.
And I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing so much increase in sales with this diversity card. It's because they're trying to do it the right way.
Yeah. So when they do it the right way, I agree, it's a good move. Like when you play it the right way. But when you're making broad statements, that's what I'm scared of because it's like that's when you're tapping into like the things that should be done in the creative room, and that's when you like. So you're right. Like when it's done the right way, when it's done in the writing room, in like the writers' imaginations, it should cash in a lot of money, and and I'm happy for it.
I'm also talking about doing it in the right way from a PC perspective. So the fact that they chose to do, mostly black cast and the fact that they reached out and tried to find all these new actors and
So
everything.
except for Martin Freeman, who was in,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I
I saw
really love the
mostly.
inclusion of like the one white dude.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
colonial,
So
the
that was really
colonial
important.
figure,
Yeah.
the colonial figure, colonizer. Yeah,
that was-
yeah.
They
No,
could-
listen. The only way to do that movie was with an all African American
Yeah,
cast.
obviously.
And if they did it any differently, I wouldn't
That's
have gone
not
to see
just
it.
politically correct.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't make any sense if
exactly.
you consider
Exactly.
But like, why is that? Why is that now all of a sudden like? Why is that attributed to the PC
Exactly.
correct way? It's
Exactly.
just
Good
it just
storytelling.
makes so much
It's
sense.
good
But
storytelling.
I'm just saying they could have made other choices and it could have gone bad.
They could have had
so.
random white dudes in Africa.
No,
I mean, it's
I'm not
been
saying
done
that,
before.
but
I can give Christina. It's
for
been
some
done
of the main
before.
characters, they could have made.
Yeah,
them-
but that's not good PC writing. That's good writing.
Like example, Gods of Egypt.
Yeah,
Or the
yeah,
Prince
we're
of
not-
Persia.
Oh my lord,
or,
that
or,
movie.
right.
Or
Yes,
Prince of Persia.
exactly.
Which,
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Like where Jake Gyllenhaal is the Prince
Sure.
of Persia. I mean, I did see that movie.
they could have
still.
spray tanned some people.
Sure,
and they
but we're not.
didn't.
But we're
Okay,
not
so-
talking about whitewashing.
Yeah.
We're talking about representation as a socio-political issue being reflected through these films and comic books, and whether is it a genuine heartfelt do like we're gonna do better, or is it
Yeah, is it an effort,
or
a good
is there
effort?
is there a business motivation behind it,
I
right?
think it's a bit of both. I don't think you can separate
Yeah.
those two.
I
Yeah,
think-
it's like naive to separate the two.
Right.
And also-
Definitely, but I think it's okay. So if we lived in a perfect world, I'd say like I would want it to be like them making profit off of it, but it done in the creative way. Obviously, like in this, like obviously we're gonna say like the business like the boardroom or whatever we're gonna say has their hand in it, obviously, because it's like a business, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that like I don't like them having that many hands in it, because I think it's enough. It's enough like that we're doing it in the writing room, because it's the movement is being done in a genuine way and not just a cashing way.
Well, here's the thing though. Like they all want to kind of give themselves pats on the back for like doing.
That's
Yeah.
what's
what they're
happening.
doing.
Yeah.
Which I
that's
think
a
is
lot
okay.
of what's happening.
But I
is
think
like,
it's okay. I think I do like the idea of like, yeah, just show it, don't tell me.
Yeah.
But when I was watching, the introduction to Phase 4, like it didn't seem just like a pat on the back. Like you saw
Yeah,
these
yeah.
fans cheering,
Marvel's
like, it
definitely
was
doing it right.
good. And so an example too, and I have a question about what you guys think about this is, so the Eternals is something that a lot of people don't know the source material. It's
Right.
not as possible as
right.
popular. There's been a lot of iterations, the Neil Gaiman Christina had mentioned before. But even with that, like seeing like Kumail Nanjiani cast as like an eternal god, like for me, like this guy from Pakistan, like to me, I was like, that's so awesome. And so there's been like a lot of gender switches there. There's been sort of switches of maybe a bit of the backgrounds. But even the director itself, Chloe Zhao, who will be directing. So that's like a movie where they've obviously kind of strayed from the source material, but a lot of people
Right.
aren't really as familiar with it. So
Yeah.
how do you guys
Yeah.
feel about something like that?
I think it's a good way to experiment. It's definitely, I don't know. It's new ground that they're breaking, and it's like they're establishing. We haven't seen the movie, so I don't know, right? So like I like it as a step one. Sure, I don't know too much about it.
So okay. So as far as the business decision behind these moves, does anybody else find it kind of crazy that they did this in the comic books and it was a financial fucking failure in comparison to what they're doing in the movies?
Which comic books? I don't think it was always a
They
failure.
did what in the comic books?
Miss Marvel took
when
off.
Yeah, I'm a big
when
fan
they
of Miss
gender
Marvel.
swapped Iron Man, when they introduced Riri Williams, when they
so-
did female Thor, like it financially was not a success for
Miles Morales was.
So okay,
Miles
no. So
Morales
I do have a
was.
good point. Like this,
but I wouldn't I wouldn't categorize Miles Morales with Lady Thor or Riri Williams or those type of characters. I think Miles Morales was like his own version of Spider-Man.
Okay,
You know
so
what I'm saying?
so it's interesting you say that,
Yeah.
because the difference between Riri Williams and Miles Morales actually is not okay. So you said like they gender swapped Tony. They didn't. They introduced a new character to take on the mantle. The reason why Riri Williams wasn't a success the way Miles Morales was a success was because Miles Morales, you said like I agree with you,
Well-developed
established
character.
himself as his own character, right? The same way that like that Terry McGinnis isn't Bruce Wayne, right? The thing is with Riri Williams is her entire character is about I'm better than Tony Stark, and it was this like weird competition. It drove the fans to either pick a side between Riri Williams and Tony Stark, and her entire thing was I'm smarter than you, I'm younger than you, and I'm just better in every way than you. Whereas it was like Miles Morales had his own character, and like people are gonna love you if you have your own character. But when you're a parasite of another character, no one's gonna like you. And and like we already love Tony Stark. What competition is there? Like why would we love Riri Williams when her entire character is I'm better than you? Like I'm 2.0. Whereas Miles Morales is I'm Miles Morales and you're Peter
Yeah,
Parker.
And I think also, like you said, Miss Marvel kicking off. Like I've been reading Miss Marvel, and I absolutely love it. Like she's this teen girl in New Jersey trying to figure out her superpowers and also navigating her lifestyle, which is
Are you talking about the
and-
second version of her?
yeah, the Miss Marvel. So Captain Marvel is like Carol
yeah.
Danvers, and then Miss
Kamala
Marvel,
Khan.
yeah,
Yeah.
is now
yeah.
Kamala
Kamala.
Khan. Kamala
Yeah,
Khan.
yeah.
And so, but like you're saying in general, like with the comics not selling as much, I mean, we've been seeing a decrease in comics, at least Marvel and DC, but comics outside of that have not seen that decrease. And I don't think it's because of a lack of diversity. Like Walking Dead is one where you could mention there's a lot of diversity. I think with Marvel Comics, what's happening, and with DC, they're finding a lot of their readers are these older sort of people who've been reading it since sort of the conception of these comic book stories, and maybe not the conception, not that old, but sort of around that age frame, and they're trying to market to these new audiences. And like anything, I think it's going to be hit and miss. I don't think they're going to change their mind now. I think they're going to keep moving forward. I think they're going to see what works and what doesn't work. Obviously, Miss
As they
Marvel
should.
did. Miles Morales obviously did. Riri Williams maybe not as much. I haven't actually read it, so I
Listen,
can't
guys,
comment as much.
you can't
Well-
discount the storytelling of it. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the-
that's
it's
what it's
not
about. And
Riri
that's
Williams
where I
is
wanted to
black
get.
and therefore she's making no money. It's
that's where I wanted
because
to
it's
get.
bad writing.
Yeah, and that's
it's
where I wanted to
diversity
get.
done wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
with Lady Thor, I just think
Yeah.
it was like, who was supposed to be the audience for that? Was it supposed to be women? Because I just feel like maybe women didn't like necessarily
don't mind
connect
Lady
with the Lady
Thor.
Thor. We kind of, oh, okay, yeah. So we kind of connected already with regular Thor. Women love regular Thor.
Yeah,
so like,
that's right.
who was supposed to be the audience for?
Well,
Lady
it was
Thor?
it was a
No,
very
it's a great point. No, and you know, I want to get to where Chris is going because that's where I wanted this conversation to evolve to, and that is merit. The merit, like what is the merit? What is the value of the story being told? Right? Like, what are we getting out of character development? Like in terms of the end product, right? And I don't feel like all the diversity moves have been great end product. I really don't. I think that there have been a lot of great
there have been as
end
well,
product
though, right?
moments. No,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
no, for sure. Like I think Black Panther was an amazing achievement. Okay, I'm not the biggest fan of the movie in terms of the story because I see so many little bits of the Lion King in there. It just throws me off.
That's so true. That's so true.
But well, I'm not the first person to say that. South
You
Park,
hate the Lion King.
South Park
Frank?
did a
Why
great
do you hate
job.
the Lion King?
Well, he hates that it's a copy of it.
I have something against lions, Christina. That's why. No, seriously, like it's you know,
I want to see Lion King. by
I
the way.
didn't like the way that they almost lifted the plot structure from Lion King. I don't like when anybody lifts plot structure from anybody. That's just me, right? But as far as the spectacle that I got in Black Panther, I fucking loved it. I ate that shit up with a spoon. The whole car chase thing through Korea, the fact that they went to fucking
Oh, I
Korea,
loved
Yeah,
that
that.
was
the Korean
dope.
scene, yeah.
that was so cool. The casino, the way that they integrated Martin Freeman's character and the back and forth with Shuri, like that was great. And Lupita Nyong'o's character, what's her name? Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. Come on, you guys
Who's
remember? Nobody
Lupita?
remembers
I'm sorry,
her now.
Who's
I
that?
don't know who that is. Yeah.
Lupita Nyong'o.
No, Lupita
We need
Nyong'o,
Google. We need Google.
T'Challa's love
girlfriend.
interest.
Yeah,
Okay, there
yeah,
you
she
go.
was T'Challa's
More than
love
Oh
just
my
a
interest.
god,
girlfriend.
we all fail at being
What was
nerds.
her name? What was her
I
name?
don't. I'm not super
I'm
familiar
sorry.
with Black
I don't know.
Panther.
Shit, I remember like everybody's name except for her right now. Anyways,
Nakia.
yeah, Nakia. She was great in that movie. She was fantastic, right? All the actors were fantastic. The costuming was fantastic. The special effects with the rhinos, I could have done without the
But
rhinos.
the culture, like seeing the
Yeah,
culture.
exactly.
I
was so
love
dope.
seeing the
Exactly.
culture.
One of the reasons I love Coming to America so much as an 80s movie is because of the cultural aspects of it. Like seeing these two people be transplanted into Queens, New York, and seeing them basically
Oh yeah.
fish out of water story, one of the best fish out of water stories of all time, was fantastic. But there are so many diversity plays that I just can't get behind. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't mind Captain Marvel as a movie. I think it could have been done better. I think that there was a lot of like messaging. There was a lot of like social justice warrior messages within that movie. And they should have just stuck to the character development. They should have stuck to more interesting things. I think one of the things that could have been great in that movie is if they had made the Marvel character a male, so she had a positive male to identify with, right? It was literally all the males in her story were just like these fucking, these pieces of shit, these assholes, right? Other than Samuel L. Jackson.
I think.
Yeah,
they-
but I think Samuel Jackson, like other than him, like that was one of the main friendships of the movie,
Yeah.
and that was
Yeah.
such a positive influence.
Yeah.
And I think, especially as a female in the '80s trying to join the army, like she's gonna have a lot of men telling her she can't do
For
that.
sure,
So
for
I
sure.
think that's very true to life. And my issue here is, I feel like when it comes to these movies, like white males are allowed to fail more than diverse characters. I feel like once a character that's put in for diversity fails, that's it. It's done.
That's a
We've seen
fair
so
point.
many
Well,
action
that's a
movies
fair
with like
point.
white blonde
That's a
men
fair point.
fail and they still get another movie.
Yeah, that's a fair
Oh,
point.
you're talking
that-
about box office?
like
That's
the
a fair
box
point.
office.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying in terms of like failing at the box office, like I feel like we don't
Yeah.
get the shots a lot of
Yeah.
the time. And so like our one shot has to count because that might be all
I
you
hate
get.
that about the business side of film.
Yeah,
for
I did
sure.
too.
And
I
it's
did
like
too.
it's like, oh, it's a financial risk. It's
Yeah.
like, give your writers a chance,
Yeah.
man. Like they'll write
Yeah.
it again. Like I don't know. Yeah,
You know
I
what?
agree. I definitely agree.
I definitely
Regarding-
agree with that too, Sab. That's a great point. It's a great point.
Regarding Captain Marvel, I think they understood their female audience, and I think they really tapped into that female audience. I think their target was women who grew up in the 90s. And I don't know, based on my Facebook, all my female friends who grew up in the 90s friggin' loved it. Everybody was
Yeah.
talking about it. Everybody was posting
but-
about it.
okay.
Even people who never read comics. A lot of my female friends who weren't even comic book fans.
Okay, but
watched
what
it.
about alienating your male audience that likes Captain
In a
Marvel?
way,
Can I
they
say-
did. In a way, they did because they were trying to draw in this new female audience because they want those
Yeah, but that's not
into the MCU. They
Yeah,
want
okay.
those women to come and watch the other MCU movie.
Right. Okay. So can I just say something about this? Because I do actually have a problem with Captain Marvel, not the movie, but the character itself. So pretty much this is gonna be more towards like the in universe instead of like the like what you okay. Well, I let me touch on that a little bit. So first of all, like I think you can do both. Like if you're strong enough as a writer, and I think MCU has proven. You can do both without alienating anyone because you don't want to alienate like essentially half your audience.
shouldn't
Actually,
wanna
more than half
alienate
your audience.
anybody.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
So like, why does it have to be this oppositional thing where it's like I need to get my female audience, so I'm just gonna take this like I'm just gonna cut my losses with the male audience because that's the only way for me
But
to
they
do
didn't
it.
cut
think
their
it was a really
losses 'cause they
fun
made
movie.
so
Okay,
much money.
I think it was a really fun
Right,
movie
right,
with
well-
like a positive girl power message and a good tone.
Right. Okay. So
And-
my problem with Captain Marvel is the same problem I have with. Okay. So first of all, I'd like to say Henry Cavill is fucking sick as Superman.
Best Superman
But-
ever.
Okay, best Superman ever. But I hate Superman in these team up movies. The same reason why I hate Carol Danvers. And the thing is, like, they didn't have to do this because so in the comics, like Captain Marvel is very powerful, but she's not as powerful as she is in the movies. And Wanda is way more powerful in the comics.
Yep.
And they underpowered her.
Yep.
They could have stuck to the comics, and it would have been so much better. Because
Yep.
what ended up happening, so this is the same problem. Right now, I call it the Superman syndrome. Is when you get Superman in a movie, no conflict matters anymore because Superman can flick you, and the conflict is over. And he like they had to kill him in the Justice
Doomsday.
League movie,
Yeah.
just to give the
Spoilers.
rest of the characters conflict. And that's the same problem I have with Carol Danvers. It's
Batman
like,
v Superman movie.
like
Sorry, you
you-
said Justice League.
like-
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Batman v Superman movie
Wait, is what?
was when Superman dies.
Well, but he had to die there so
Yeah.
that the Justice League
Yeah.
in the Justice League
Yeah.
movie he
Yeah.
was like not there, right?
Yeah.
So like with Captain Marvel, it's like and I have a problem with them like going to a press conference and saying she's the most powerful character in this universe. Don't tell us that. Show us that, right?
Yeah,
if that's where
me
you want to
too.
go, show us that. But you can't make these statements because I now look at Thanos and go, well, Thanos is just the second best, right? Like what conflict is there left, right? Like they literally had to kick her off the movie
Yeah.
just to give the rest of the characters conflict,
Yeah.
and it just ruined the movie, or it ruined the tension of the movie.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think it ruined. I like honestly didn't remember that she.
you know why it
wasn't
didn't
in
ruin it, Saba? Because she was barely there.
Yeah,
If
that's
she
exactly.
was, there
But
would
so
be
they
no
didn't put
problem.
her. So they didn't put her in, and I think that's okay that they didn't. And also this whole like alienating 50% of the audience. I don't think they did because it made millions of dollars. And having gone to see it with my brother who enjoyed the movie, it wasn't his favorite movie. It honestly wasn't my favorite Marvel movie either. I had issues with it. They're outside of it, outside of like sort of that other things, just like story wise.
Yeah.
But I don't really think it did alienate the audience. And I think they're just going for new genres. An example is Doctor Strange is now going to be the new one is going to be horror and gothic. There are some people who are totally against that. Honestly, like
Wait, who
I'm,
is?
I
Everybody
like,
loves horror gothic.
Okay, that is not true. If
I'm
you
not a
live
horror-
alone,
I don't like.
I'm not a horror
I'm
fan,
not
bro.
a fan.
But
Okay,
I'm
but,
giving
like-
it a chance because it's fucking Doctor Strange.
But you said everybody. Did you say everybody hates horror gothic?
No, I'm not saying
Oh, okay.
everybody. I'm
Yeah,
saying
I
some
mean,
people
yeah.
do. I
Right.
have grown up. My mother is obsessed with it. I hate
Yeah.
it. I have been forced to watch these
But
movies,
they're
and I live alone.
exploring. They're exploring that area.
Yeah,
now,
and
right?
just like they're exploring this new sort of avenue of like, let's see sort of more girl power.
Okay,
and,
no,
and I'm
I
not
love
all
that.
about girl power in your face. I hate that. I'm not into that. But I didn't think that like Captain Marvel was that bad,
Yeah.
really,
Okay,
in terms of that.
So I agree with you. Notice I never said that I don't like the fact that like she like that. Like, there's this girl who's like really powerful. I object to the fact of how powerful she is and what it does to the rest of the thing. Like you
Okay,
can make
that
her
is-
really powerful, and I love that for sure. Like I said, I would love to see Wanda at her strength in the comics, and she's one of the strongest in the comic books. But like my objection is, like you just made a statement to everybody to make Carol Danvers this character and the most powerful being as a statement in a press conference, and now you're injecting her in this movie where it just doesn't work because now there's nothing that can beat her.
She's supposed to be fighting aliens in space or something, right? So they're
Right.
saying she's so powerful that this fight that's happening on the ground it's not important enough.
Which
to involve
trivializes
her.
the biggest movie that's ever been made.
Yeah, 100%.
So far,
100%.
but their plan is bigger than that, right? So
Also,
they're
she
trying
was-
to say
she
there's
didn't
going
know
to be
what was
something bigger in
happening.
the future, right?
the fact that they ended Captain Marvel with Ronan, like literally being scared, like watching Captain Marvel destroy all his ships, was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
I can't go
that
back.
was ridiculous.
I can't go back to Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah,
and see
and be
these
scared of
groups of
Ronan.
people
I
who
can't be
had one of the
scared of Ronan
badass, most
anymore.
badass female characters ever, by the way.
Yeah,
I can't
Gamora.
go back to watch
Yeah.
that because like the enemy just looks like a chump.
Yeah.
Because Captain Marvel flicked him and he went, "Oh fuck, I'm nothing
Yeah.
compared to her."
Yeah.
And it's like that's just bad storytelling. Like Wanda was very
Well,
nicely written.
I have to say, I love Wanda, and
Wanda's
I'm really
the
sad
best female
that she didn't
character in
actually
the
get
MCU.
her own movie.
She is getting one.
Okay,
She's getting a TV show.
She'll get
It's a
one
TV show,
eventually.
I mean,
yeah.
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 But I would have loved to see a Wanda movie versus Captain Marvel movie.
Amen. Me
actually,
too.
Yeah, me
Me
too.
too.
Me too.
100%.
I think
100%.
Captain Marvel, again, just like Black Panther, has sort of a significant importance. Like, I think they were
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
introduce
she
her
should
as
have been
well.
made, absolutely, but
Yeah.
they shouldn't have made that. Like,
But-
they shouldn't have made her like that. Like, that was
Yeah.
just bad already.
So
And-
I think that was one of the movies they could have made, and they chose not to because they were like, oh well, we're doing Captain Marvel, so we don't have to also have another female movie. It's fine.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe,
I don't,
but-
I don't,
100%,
I
I
don't
think-
think so.
But-
It's-
No,
But-
they're doling them out is the thing. So they
Yeah.
tested
Sure.
with Captain Marvel, and they're like, okay, now we can do another. This
Ben
is where we get to
didn't
the
really love
business. This
that.
is where we get
Let's,
to the
like,
boardroom,
not
which
do
I don't
that.
like.
So
they're like,
there's-
okay, well now we can do Scarlet.
right,
100%.
Right.
No,
There's
there's
a difference
definitely
between
a
saying like
Yeah.
there's a difference between saying like we don't want to put in money in a Wanda movie because we're afraid that she can't hold her own as a leading
I
character.
100% think that that's the case right now, and that's why they're giving her a
What?
TV show before testing her in Doctor
Maybe.
Strange. Because she honestly, like you said, her character's a lot bigger in the comics, and they haven't
Okay, no,
developed
but
her
let me-
as much.
But the thing is, like I agree. Like what's happening is they're afraid that she can't hold her own as a main character. But I don't think it has anything to do with her being a woman because I think they're afraid to give Hawkeye his own movie because they're afraid he can't hold his own as a leading role either. There's a lot of elements, writing elements that they
Yeah.
A lot
can't
of people
just
don't like
sink
Hawkeye,
millions
though,
of
so
dollars
it's
into.
different.
Sorry.
A lot of people don't like Hawkeye, so it's
yeah,
different.
like that wouldn't
And
be
those
an
people
idea.
are
How's that
stupid.
different? A lot of
And
people
those
don't like
people are
Wanda.
stupid.
I don't.
Sorry.
She's not.
I like
sorry.
Hawkeye.
I
sorry.
love Hawkeye. Hawkeye's like one of my favorites, top 5 probably.
Yeah.
So like, and I wanted what I really wanted was Hawkeye and Black Widow. Man, please make that movie. But like that's I guess they're sort of making it with the Black Widow movie.
I want Daredevil
Like
and Black Widow.
ever
That's what I
since,
want.
sorry.
Daredevil and Black Widow. That's what I
Oh,
want.
that would be dope, actually. Yeah,
That's
but
what I
anyways,
want.
there's a lot of elements. You can't just look at it and say Wanda didn't get her own movie. That means they
Yeah.
think
No, I'm
women
not
can't
saying.
like.
Okay, I'm not saying just because
There's
they
o-
think women can't,
yeah,
whatever.
okay.
I think right now they don't think Wanda can hold her
Yeah,
own as a
okay, yeah,
character.
I agree.
They're giving her a TV show.
Yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah.
testing her in Doctor
That's exactly what I
Strange,
said too. Yeah.
Yeah, but
The
the,
best-
thing is, I do think there is a test the waters with these female characters. Though I think for sure,
I think all
anytime-
characters.
I think a male, sort of like what we've been seeing so far, like a white male character is a lot more likely to get their own movie than per se someone of color or
Yeah.
a woman or anything
Yeah,
else.
Not if you extrapolate Phase 4.
Phase
Well, that's what
4,
they're
which
doing
one I'm
in
excited
Phase
about,
4,
but
yeah.
that's
If you
far
extrapolate-
before.
So now they've seen success with
If you-
diversity.
Wait,
A lot of that
wait,
actually
wait,
has
wait,
to
wait,
do with-
wait.
Okay,
If
go
you
on.
if you extrapolate Phase 4, right? Chances are within the next 5 to 10 years there could be a complete MCU lineup dominated by women and by people of color.
Which
I
I'm
don't
so
think that's
excited
gonna
for.
happen.
That is
I
not-
think
I think they're going for
That is
equality.
not okay. That is not okay. And the reason it's not okay is because it doesn't strike a balance. And if we're going to talk about equality, equality is about a balance.
Okay, here's
right?
the balance. For the last 50 to 60 years, all movies were white male characters.
I
and
get
white
that.
So now you're
characters.
just never gonna write
No,
it.
I don't
No.
think that's never going to be a thing. You said a lot of them will be leading. I don't think they're ever going to
No,
get
I
rid
said
of it.
all. I said there's
Okay,
a chance
I
that
don't bel-
all of them could be
I
all.
think there could be a chance that there might be a lot and maybe even majority. I don't think they're ever going to get rid of their movies with their white leads, and I wouldn't want them to anyway. That's
No,
fine.
nobody
But
wants
I
that.
think we're going to
So-
see a thing where it doesn't matter anymore if your character is white, brown, black, girl, female. Or male. We're gonna see the movie to see the movie, and so I hope we get to a place where
I'm
we don't
hoping
have to
that's-
worry.
that's what it is right now,
That
but it's-
Saba, that's not about diversity. That's about good storytelling.
Yeah, and,
Right.
and,
And I
and that's
think-
what I want right
And
now.
that's what I want.
I think that's
And
what everyone
exactly
wants.
So you don't
what
think
I
we're
want.
gonna
Ultimately-
get
No, but
storytelling at
no,
this
but that is
moment?
not what everybody wants, because when somebody goes on Twitter to argue that they need to gender swap or race swap or sexuality swap a character, that's not fucking good writing.
That's
the
the short-
laziest shit ever.
Well, that's the short-term solution to a long-term problem. So
No, that's not a solution.
But
that
how is it a
Band-Aid.
solution to
So
story
here's the
writing?
thing. I'm okay.
it's not a
gender
solution to
swapping-
story writing. It's a solution to representation on
If
film.
one day they woke up and said, "Okay, Tony Stark is now Tony Stark the female," then I'd be like, "Okay, that's weird." I'm totally okay with them creating these new storylines with new characters if it's good story writing, just like what Chris has been saying. So Miss Marvel, I like it because it's like this fun teen girl character, but she's also Muslim, which also relates to a lot of the Muslim
Right,
people
yeah.
growing up there, and then also other teen people can relate to it anyway, or adults because I'm reading and I love it. And the same thing with female Thor. Like, not everyone likes female Thor, but people think like, oh, they just changed Thor to a female. No, Jane has like a whole like storyline
yeah,
that is very
exactly.
sad, and where she like develops cancer. And I don't want to give spoilers away
Yeah.
in case you're gonna.
I'm gonna read it.
Yeah.
I'm already almost there.
Yeah, so like it is more than just her being a female Thor. There's a lot about Thor earning back his mantle, and I don't know how they're gonna do that in the movies at all.
Yeah.
No,
But-
he's gonna be the Odin's son. That's where they're going. He's gonna be Odin's son for sure.
I think and it probably you are probably correct.
Yeah.
It probably will go that way.
Or sorry, Odin. Odin's son's the last name.
Yeah.
Sorry, Odin. Yeah. But to get to that point, Saba, I want it to be about merit. I want it to be storytelling.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think we're going there without like this outside intervention or just like, oh, this is the short-term solution. We don't need a short-term solution because we're doing this
don't.
already.
Yeah.
And
But
it's like every
somebody
time
thought I
we
did.
do this the wrong way, it sets back
Exactly.
it
But
sets
I
back
don't
the
think
movie.
Marvel-
Exactly.
I
And
don't
you guys
think
lose. You guys lose the allies that you have when it comes
It
to.
just polarizes everybody. You could
Exactly.
just do it the
But
right way all
I
the
don't think
time.
Marvel is doing short-term solutions from what I've seen. Like Marvel is doing
Christina
like
just said that.
Pardon?
I said that in terms of the gender swapping characters. That's what we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
So
Like,
within that context, that's a short-term solution.
But I don't
for
think the
on
word.
screen.
But I don't think we should be even using the word short-term solution. Should we be looking at the merit and like what character can we pull and really create an awesome
Which
story?
does
I'm
it
not
the right
saying
way.
I'm not saying if it was the right way to do it. I'm just saying somebody said, "Oh, we're hearing this. Let's try this,"
Right.
and they did.
Right.
I'm not saying that's the right way to
Right.
do
Yeah,
it.
And when you
But
look
that's
at
reactionary,
Yes,
right? That's
it is.
completely reactionary, and I don't think it should be done that way, right?
and when you look at Marvel, like it took us 4 phases to get to this point. Like I don't think they've been taking shortcuts. Like they've been sort of laying this groundwork. I mean, they've created like a 20 movie cinematic
22, yeah.
22 movie, thank you. Cinematic universe of like all these great, awesome characters, and they're introducing more diverse characters. So I think they're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
think
yeah, I
if
agree.
10 years from now
So,
we have more
For the
diverse
most
characters.
part, Marvel has been the beacon, like the MCU. I mean, has been the beacon of this, like of
Yeah.
doing it the right way.
DC
and
is
DC's
catching
doing
up,
it
though,
a
man.
good off.
Yeah,
DC's
DC's
doing a
also
lot
doing
off,
it, yeah.
like off,
Yeah.
like off
On
movie
television?
screen,
On
television.
small
I actually think
Yeah.
DC's doing it better in terms of their
The small screen?
It's
Yeah.
small screen, yeah, exactly. I think they're doing it the right way because it's like they're writing these characters, and it's like, and they're just. Oh, actually, I said this in episode 1, but like they're writing these characters, and it's like it's so organic. It's just like it's just a character that's written in there, and it's like, and they exist in the world where it's like. Yeah, like it's a character who happens to be this, right? Happens to be a certain way, happens to be a diverse, like whatever it is. So like a non-binary. So we're
Yeah.
talking about Halo, like non-binary, and it's like they're doing it super organically, where it's just like, yeah, like let's not make a big deal out of it. I'm non-binary. That's my character. It's not my entire identity. I'm something else. That's what I am, though.
That's
And I think
literally
that's the
that's
great-
literally
a
what
great
she said
way
in the
to do
episode
it.
too. That's literally what she said in the episode.
But-
Like I like the Halo character, and I don't want to go back and rehash what we talked about as far as like Young Justice or whatever, but there's also a lot of strong arm moves going on that people aren't paying attention to. You probably didn't hear this, but they made Aqualad have a kiss with a guy,
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So with the Aqualad thing,
and he had a girlfriend.
he had a girlfriend. That's
Yeah.
my problem with that. It's like if he never had like this prior thing that was super essential to the story. Oh, Aqualad's gay after 3 seasons of watching. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Is
but
he
like,
gay or is he bi?
Well, that's the thing. All the pundits, all the media coverage is like gay in big letters, like Aqualad's gay now.
But here's
Well,
the
what
thing:
about
that's
his
media
girlfriend?
loves to stereotype, and they don't understand bi culture. They do
Right,
not
okay,
understand
yeah.
pan and bi culture.
that might be true.
I don't necessarily know if I believe that inherently. I think that it's more about like what can I get what can we get more clicks with, gay or bisexual? And they're gonna go with gay.
I have a funny example for that. So back in the day, I was a huge Xena fan. And
Oh, Xena's
at
awesome.
The
Xena's
end of
dope.
Xena.
Wait, Christina, can you give us the war cry, please?
Yeah. That was not good.
You heard it here,
good
guys.
enough.
First. Meanwhile, back at the podcast, war cry, awesome. All right.
But yeah, so at the end of Xena, all of a sudden she becomes a lesbian with Gabriella after they both sleep their way through like half the continent.
Yeah,
like,
that's what
what?
they test of
I
the waters.
actually
They're like, you know
hated
what?
that.
And it was weird because
It was so
it was
weird.
awkward because they had this like mentor-mentee
Exactly.
relationship, and it
She
just
was
felt
her
weird.
protector.
She was her protector.
It was
It's
so
weird.
weird.
How is she all of a sudden
Okay.
coming onto her?
So-
It undermined everything that
Exactly,
Xena did for
100%
Gabriella.
agree.
Can't comment.
That was so weird. I was weirded out when
I
I,
felt
was
like they were like
It felt weird.
like, for the
like
longest
they
time,
felt like sisters. to
yeah,
me.
they felt like
Yeah,
sisters,
it was
and it was like
weird.
that's
Yeah.
not right.
I do remember watching that, and I was younger when it came out. I remember she was like Hercules and like all the other people, and then I don't really think because I was so young, I don't think I understood what happened.
So,
I was like, oh, they're just
Xena
like
and
great
Gabriella
friends.
both always had only male lovers. We
Yeah,
never
but
saw either of them
even if-
kiss a female
to be
character.
honest-
and then all of a sudden they're in love with each
Yeah,
other.
it was like, well, to
They
be
did feel like
to be fair,
sisters, or like a mother-daughter.
to be fair,
thing, like,
the show was failing at that point, so
it
they're
was,
like,
so they did
yeah,
it for
so-
ratings.
Yeah,
Like
so,
a
so
jump
sorry,
the
that was
shark.
my point. That
Yeah.
was my example. of something
yeah,
that they
I
did just for
100%
ratings.
agree. That was like, ugh, what the fuck just
And
happened
it
here?
was an awkward
Ruined
thing
my
to do just
childhood.
for ratings because it undermined the whole thing about being bi or LGBTQ in a way. I think because it didn't fit with their relationship and yeah. So.
Yeah, it like to me, I literally thought they were fucking sisters. Like it was almost like I'm your protector kind of deal, right?
She
And
saved her.
if you get in
from-
trouble, I help you. If you get in trouble, you help me. Like
Yeah.
it's one of those trade-offs.
And,
right?
and like it really doesn't help the cause because now it's just like a gimmick. It's like like
Exactly.
like we need to make money. Let's just make them gay.
You
And it's
remember-
like okay, like are you just using me? Like if I was like a bi like person, I'm like, are you just using me now as like or like my identity as like a way to make money because like your show's failing? Like this doesn't fit the character.
And
That
I
you
think
can't
some
just
people
use
do
me.
react that way when
Yeah,
we see
well, I mean,
diversity done wrong. We do get those.
Yeah,
kinds
and
of
that's
reactions.
really pretty much what I'm like.
Yeah,
kind of
that's one thing I
scared
think
of,
they
right?
don't like. I feel like a lot of these movies and a lot of these shows just don't understand bi or pan culture and sort of
Yeah.
this open sexuality.
Yeah,
I
and if you
think
don't
people
understand it,
think
don't
it's
make it.
very taboo or they think it's too sexual
Oh, okay.
and the way they talk. But the thing is, I find, and this is an example of like a storybook that came out that I think where someone's reading this to their kids in class, like teacher was reading it and it had to
I'm sorry, storybook.
it was like a children's book, and
Oh,
there
okay,
was
okay.
and it featured a lesbian couple in it. There were two moms, and people were like, "Oh, you're like over sexualizing. You're doing this. You're like talking about this." But it's like just because someone is gay or bi, that's not over sexualizing their
Right.
character. That is just like their sexual orientation. Just like me saying I'm straight is not me
Right.
like saying anything other else than what
Yeah,
I am.
Okay.
And
Agreed.
I think that's sort of with Xena, or maybe what happened with Aqualad is them saying, oh, they're gay, like, because he kissed a guy now, totally discarding that. I can see people being upset, being like, well, no, like, maybe explore his sexuality if that is something that you want to do. He doesn't have to be one thing or the other, but we're very obsessed with categories.
That's an interesting story. If they showed conflict, right?
Yeah.
If they didn't just go right into this kiss, right? Especially because the woman that he was in love with, like, ended up with his best friend. So I could see the reactionary being like, "Oh man, I was spurned by this woman, right? So, and maybe this guy is providing me affection that I don't have." Like that's interesting storytelling,
Yeah,
right?
that would have been more. I would like to see something like that.
Having two dudes kiss, like even with the backdrop of Atlantis, like just randomly in a cutscene is ridiculous. Especially because
Yeah, like,
you
you
were
should
fucking,
explore that,
you were
yeah.
fucking with the character. You were literally fucking with the character.
I
and
haven't
granted,
seen the
he's
scene,
if-
so
if
I
they-
can't
I
didn't see the
comment.
scene,
So I
If
can't
they-
comment much on the scene because I
Yeah.
just haven't seen it.
Like if they explored it, I would have been like, okay. But like it just seemed like right now from the information that I have, it's like you just like rewrote his character. It's like he had a past conflict that you just swept under the rug.
So
It's
how
like-
was the
it's-
kiss done? Was
and
it a
It was
character
a
that we
missed
know?
opportunity because it could have been this big thing where it's like, yeah, not like you, like, I don't know.
It would have been great if they built up to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But who was like the character? Like who? Like he kissed who? Like was it someone that was also?
Yeah, it was like it was a character
Wasn't it
that
a
really
guard?
had
Like,
no
it was-
context
yeah.
in terms of what his
So it was just like
sexuality
a
was
cut
either.
scene
Yeah,
to him.
It was
just
literally a
some dude.
cutscene.
Yeah.
Like they were just saying goodbye to each other.
Weird. That's
like,
so weird.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
Isn't
maybe
it was-
maybe they wanted to
and
like
then-
introduce it in a subtle way. Like that could be a thing. Like
That's
make
jarring.
That make a big
That's
deal
not
out of
It's
it.
subtle.
super jarring.
And
yeah.
I
then-
don't think it's
and
that
then-
jarring. Two guys kissing. Like,
And
No,
then-
two guys kissing in a
Saba, but like
cutscene, though.
Saba, like you can't just say that because we gave you so much context and we said it's jarring for his character, and you just said two guys kissing isn't jarring. That's not what we were saying. We were saying his character.
Well, I don't understand, like,
Flipping
what-
a switch is very jarring.
but
Which
here's
is
the
what Christina
thing.
was saying.
Yeah.
I don't.
But the thing is, Saba, is why it was so jarring is he was in love with this girl in the first or second season, right?
And it
she
was
died.
a big thing, yeah.
and it was a huge thing, right? And it was literally like it totally fucked him up where he was like screwing up missions and everything. It became part of the
Okay,
storyline.
I just
And
because
he's
what you
right.
guys said was she went and was like dating his best friend. So I was like, okay, they
yeah,
broke
she
up.
was.
So
yeah.
who-
Okay, I didn't know she
Yeah.
died and like
Yeah, yeah.
And it was
all
actually
that
like it
happened.
wasn't just like
And
a
it wasn't a fridging,
backstory.
don't worry.
He was actually Aqualad because of this. So the girl he used to date, who's now dating this other guy, he is actually Aqualad. He's the old Aqualad from the comics, right? So
Yeah.
And so they rewrote Calderon as the new Aqualad because he pretty much got jilted by this girl. So he like left Atlantis because like he was heartbroken. So that's where he became Aqualad. Like it informed a lot of his character.
Well, that and Aquaman
They
was
needed
like
to build up the romance
it was
between
like
him and
passing
this
the
guy.
torch, right?
That's
like,
right, yeah.
And he doesn't
yeah.
seem like the type of guy who would just have like flippant relationships.
Yeah. He's,
No,
Okay.
he's not. He's like
So in
He's
that
straight
context,
edge,
I
like-
can understand.
he's like a monk, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Aqualad's like a fucking monk. Like that's the way he talks. That's the way he kind of like maneuvers.
yeah, they
and-
made him the leader
Yeah,
because he
he's
was so
awesome.
straight edged and,
and he's
so
awesome.
Like,
He's literally one of the best characters on that show for sure.
Nightwing.
So I want to go back real quick and talk about Wanda, Scarlet Witch, and I don't think a lot of people notice this, but she is the only person that gets within an inch of actually killing Thanos physically
Mm-hmm.
in Endgame.
Thor. Oh, Endgame. Yeah.
Endgame, like he was almost dead, and then he had to call down the missiles from his ship, right? And to me, the way that they did that scene was better than any other like girl power scene I've ever fucking seen in any
Yeah.
other movie. Okay, that's how you show me how a woman's powerful.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the other things is it added a lot of context to the way that these women characters are being portrayed in the Marvel universe. You're either a super powerful figure where like you show and prove, or you're the female character that Kevin Feige goes to a press conference and tells everybody how powerful
Kevin
you are.
Feige has a lot of things.
Right? And Kevin Feige, I love you, buddy. I think you're the greatest thing that's ever happened in the world of cinema. But like don't do these press conferences anymore so you can get, headlines with gay and bisexual and female empowerment.
Do it on the screen,
and,
dude.
do it on the screen, bro. And that's what
I think he likes
that's where
the
we wanna
applause
see
he
it.
gets after.
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
at
Oh,
each
for sure.
Comic-Con.
It's a big spectacle.
sure.
Like,
Yeah.
sure.
I'm
press
sure the
conferences-
articles are part of it. They want the press. And
Oh,
they want-
100%.
Yeah.
They
Which
want
is-
people to talk
which
about
speaks
it.
to like the degradation of like
the motivation.
yeah.
They probably check
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Is our hashtag
Yeah.
trending?
Here's the thing. Kevin Feige to
Which
me
is like-
is a boardroom
Is a
dude.
lady
He's
Thor
a boardroom
trending?
guy.
Sorry, Saba.
I was saying Ken Feige's a boardroom guy.
Yeah.
He is 100%.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, the people, like let's say, for example,
I think he's
Shang-Chi.
good-hearted though. Like I think that
I think
he
he's in the right place. But like Simu Liu, sorry, how do you say his last name?
Simu Liu.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
him being
Liu.
cast in that movie in the Ten
I
Rings
think.
and having the director that they have. I think
Yeah.
that's where we're going to see like the
Yeah.
people being genuine.
For sure.
Right? Like
for sure.
sort of in those rooms making those movies and
For sure.
By the way,
If-
I want to
if-
circle. Oh, go ahead, Frank.
if you guys identify with a marginalized group, okay, I'm gonna say that if I was a woman and I was watching these movies, and I would probably feel the way that you guys do about these overly girl power things, right? How would you feel if
I think we
you
felt
were?
differently about the girl power thing.
That's true.
Well, yeah, just
So Saba I like it.
No,
Saba's
he's just
not
giving a
out.
hypothetical.
I
That's
don't
true.
mind girl power move if it's more shown than like girl power. Like I don't need
If
to,
it's written right.
like that's the thing. That's why I'm excited for the new Batwoman series. It looks really awesome, but I thought the trailer had a lot of like sort of those one-liners. It's like show it to me. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I don't
Exactly.
need as many. It's a little cringy
But
sometimes.
I
like
can-
Spice Girls,
I
who I
can get
love, but
cringed out
still.
by it too. So like we've talked about this.
Oh,
the
the
scene in
mark- the- oh
Endgame
my
with
God.
all the women
Yeah,
col-
God.
Wait, which one? The
collecting
Endgame one?
in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
corner of the battlefield.
Oh,
It's
but
like,
I
what?
actually like
Why
that.
would
So
they?
this is where we differ. I did like that. I was
I
like,
agree
oh,
with you.
It's
damn.
You
dangerous.
like that
They
scene?
were supposed to be supporting
I was
the other
like, you
characters
go,
on the
Mantis,
battlefield.
you
Why are
use
they
your
all
my
gathered
power.
in the
So
corner?
guys, bring it in. We're gonna do a 6 strut like for like 2
Yeah, yeah,
meters.
yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
Mantis.
Guys,
you,
selfie on the
No, I
battlefield.
can't.
and I
Mantis
love this.
is
It's like
probably-
Mantis. You can't do anything but just walk right in the middle
No,
for a
I
second.
just, but can I
You have
tell you,
no
Mantis
offensive
would do that.
powers.
Mantis would be like, oh, is there a girls' meeting coming on? Like, should I be
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. Mantis, you have no offensive powers at all.
But
so
I love you.
please gather up with us. We're going to go fight this amazingly powerful being. Hopefully we'll
Yeah,
Emotional
like-
support. Maybe she was there for the emotional
Dude,
support.
Yeah,
She had to
I
touch
love
everyone
that
to calm
scene.
them down.
You will never make me not like that scene.
I don't care.
Honestly, like I love girl power, but that scene, like I didn't even hate it for the fact that it was so divisive. It just kicked me out of the fourth wall.
Yeah, it was
Like
awkward.
it was
It was
just like,
awkward.
whoa,
I
what?
didn't. Okay,
I felt
so-
like I was on a movie set. That's
Yeah,
how I felt.
like, what?
I didn't feel
Yeah.
that way at all. And so,
Yeah.
like I said, so a lot of these things I watched with my brother.
Yeah.
We watched everything together, and I asked him, and he's like, "Yeah, that scene was awesome." I was like, "It was all females," and he was like, "Oh, I didn't even realize." Like to him, he just thought it was cool. But like my brother's has always been very like sort of loose. Like growing up, a lot of guys don't choose female characters because they just don't. But like Mortal Kombat, he'd like,
I did.
Is he your
You
little
go-
brother? I think.
no, he's my big
Oh,
brother
okay.
by like a lot.
Cammy
Okay.
was like dope.
Because I feel
Yeah.
like little brothers kind of look up to us, and then they don't mind
No, I
playing
only
with the
got older
Barbies or
ones.
something sometimes.
But no, he's a lot old. But like, I guess it depends on the person. I really like that scene. There are definitely scenes where I've not been a fan of, where it's been a little too much. But I feel like Marvel has done a good job of not making too many cringy
Yeah.
scenes for them. I mean, America's Ass was a little cringy, but
No,
you
I
know.
love that.
That was
I
hilarious.
loved it.
Like that was actually good for
But
his character because he
honestly,
can make fun
I
of
think-
himself,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I think
No,
Captain
he
Widow
had-
has a nicer butt. Just saying.
Who?
Or sorry, I think Black Widow has a nicer butt. So.
Oh yeah, 100%.
100%. Yeah, no, for sure. But honestly, I like what Chris said because I think that did more for Steve Rogers' character than most of the scenes that I've seen in the last
And
two
the
or three
Hail
films.
Hydra moment. When
Yeah.
he,
Well, that was
That was
that was so
phenomenal.
genius.
That
He
was
was
a
like,
very
phenomenal.
WTF.
yeah, like
I like
my-
that. That was
Yeah.
great.
like the guy I knocked out, he would have fought everyone here. Me, I'm just gonna say 2 words and
Yeah.
then like fucking like enjoy this elevator ride. It was the best.
I would have like the Steve Rogers from like the first event from the first Captain America would not, I don't think, had said Hail Hydra.
No, yeah,
But
he
you
would
know
have
what?
fought everyone.
But you know what? The best scene of all Captain America is in that movie. I don't know if you guys ever noticed it. When they throw the grenade on the ground and Steve literally covers it up because he thinks
Yeah.
it's
Yes,
a live
100%.
grenade.
I
And he's
love
gonna
that
take
scene.
that. He's gonna take that brunt for everybody there. I was like, "Fuck! I love this character."
Yeah.
Like that was
Yeah.
so good, dude. That was so good. But touching back on what I was saying in terms of like if I was a woman and I was seeing these characters come to life, I would want to see what you want like what you want to see is story development, character development, right? Like I would want to see those things. Yeah, and I would want to see well-developed scenes, well-developed characters. Like, I'll give you a great example. Ahsoka Tano is my favorite all-time Star Wars
sick.
character. She's the best. She's the best character by far. And I think that she's not only is she developed emotionally, not only is she developed as a combatant within the stories, but she's also developed as a peer for Anakin and Obi-Wan, and within the Clone Wars narrative. And I want to see that. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see just these random moments where you fucking freeze time and go girl power and then go fight somebody.
I don't
and,
think
and
it's
like
that-
and Ahsoka was like so strong and so like powerful, but she was so vulnerable all the time. Like,
Yeah.
like her strength comes from her vulnerability and how she like puts it aside and becomes this like sick ass warrior. And I love that. And it's like that's the stuff you need to explore. It's like anyways.
So
you
like I
saw
said,
what
I
you
don't
were gonna
think that Marvel did that. Like, I don't think they've done it much yet. You could say that's what that scene was. And it was maybe like a pat on the back scene to be like, look, like, we're being diverse. We're getting these females in here and like we're showing like all the females we've created and all these awesome characters we've created. And for anyone, if that scene actually ruined the movie for you, I'm
No, I
sorry.
never
Like,
said
'cause
that.
That's
No,
the
it
thing.
didn't
I
ruin
feel
it.
like,
I said it
No.
kicked me out of the fourth wall
Yeah.
for like a
It
second.
made it feel awkward. Yeah.
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 but I just didn't.
I
I don't
hate
know.
that in
For
movies,
me,
and to be honest, just being just like kicked out of the fourth wall, except for Deadpool, of course, because that's what he does. But like, I hate just like, whoa, what the hell? or like continuity errors does the same thing for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't ruin the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, usually I find those things cringe. For whatever reason, when I saw that moment, I don't know. For me, I was just like, I don't know. I felt like a really weird sense of like, wow, like this is awesome. And I guess like the little girl in me who always had to choose guy characters who love playing RPGs. I love RPGs, but until recently, I mean, most of them had been male. To sort of like see that, I don't know. I just like I felt a little tingle.
So that
And I'm
feeling you
happy that
had,
and I'm happy that you got that, Sabo. But like
that feeling you had is the feeling I had during the Captain Marvel movie. So yeah.
Okay, so if we went around the table right now, could you guys think of one character that you would never want them to race swap, gender swap, sexuality swap? Period.
ooh,
Let's start with Christina.
Witchblade. I would know if
Yeah.
they ever. I want to see a
'cause you
Witchblade
love her,
movie.
right? Yeah.
They almost made Witchblade so many times, but yeah, if they ever like swapped her somehow, it'd feel weird. Like I don't know.
What if they changed her with another race? Like, let's say, okay, because of the Witchblade
think-
content, right? Like she's good with a sword, blah 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 blah.
I
So
think
maybe
they
we
could get
can
away
find,
with swapping her with a race.
no. But what do you feel? Like, what do you?
personally-
Well, so her background,
Like,
her
what's your personal
character is
attachment to
an
it?
Italian. Her background is an Italian American, and she's an NYPD homicide detective. So they could make her Latina. That could make sense. It would have to be something that would make sense for New York.
Okay.
So
And New York is very diverse.
Yeah.
So it could be.
but yeah, I feel like they could do Latina, they could do Black, but like something that like feels New York would
Yeah.
be kind of.
Okay. Saba?
Either honestly, like I don't often care either way. The one character I would even think of that would be like, oh, I would not want them to change is honestly Blade. I love Blade. I love Wesley Snipes. I'm really excited about Mahershala Ali. I talked about it in the last episode.
Again, I was gonna choose Blade.
Oh my goodness, Chris, we're
Saba-
just too
I'll-
alike.
I'll think of
But
something
no,
else.
like that. But if they did change it, if they like made a new iteration and sort of created a new story behind it, I'm totally cool.
I'm not like that. Informs so much about Blade. Like,
But-
don't change.
but yeah,
Blade
Blade
you
for me.
fuckers.
And same thing with sexuality. I'm used to Sarah Pazzini being straight, but also it wouldn't bother me if she somehow became bi or something. But she has to still like guys because there's so many guy characters within her realm that she needs to interact with, like the Darkness. If she didn't fall in love with, I forgot his name, but if she didn't fall in love with the guy who's the Darkness, that would be weird. Like that has to be there. So.
Chris?
I want to say Spawn, but like not really. Like if they change Spawn, I guess maybe Nightwing, because he's my favorite character, and like I don't know anyone that I really identify with, like not identify with. I mean, he's a white dude. I'm not a white dude, but like anyone who I'm like used to seeing as a certain way that I really love, Nightwing and like Batman, maybe Spawn. But Spawn's like undead, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so.
I would have to say, for me, it would be Wolverine and Daredevil. Like, you cannot fuck with Daredevil. I'm
Yeah?
sorry. Because
Daredevil.
yeah, because Daredevil to me is like is like he has to be that lawyer, he has to have that sense of privilege, but he also has to be Catholic, and because that's where most of
That's
his
right.
conflict
Yeah,
comes from,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is the fact that he's Catholic. And he has to be obviously blind. You can't like imagine they try to make another Daredevil movie where like they change his disability, like maybe they fuck with something else. Like that would be horrible. Like and I would hate them to try and do
Yeah.
something like that. It just wouldn't work. And as far as Wolverine goes, like the story starts off in the early 1800s and you don't get to where Wolverine went unless you basically are a white male. Like you just
makes a lot
don't
of
get
sense,
there,
yeah.
right?
And he's
So-
Canadian. Keep him
Yeah,
Canadian.
yeah. Oh, yeah. You totally keep him Canadian.
Yeah,
And-
I'd be so sad if they made Wolverine not Canadian. That would
I know
be so
that
weird.
would probably
Actually, I
upset me
do
a
have
lot.
one.
Are
You
we
know
gonna sing?
Helen.
Are we
you
gonna
guys
sing
know-
"Oh Canada" now, guys?
Oh god.
Go ahead.
You guys know Helena Bertinelli? She's
Yeah.
Huntress.
Huntress.
Like she has to stay because so pretty much her father is like the Italian mob.
Yeah.
She has to stay
Yeah.
Italian and white. Like
Yeah.
you can't.
And,
like don't change
Arrow.
it, please.
Yeah.
Huh?
She's an arrow.
An arrow,
she-
yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but she's one of my favorite characters in the comics.
Oh, yeah.
Her and Black Canary.
Yeah.
I also don't want them to change Black Canary because like I like her being like this like spandex wearing like blonde like badass
They
chick.
did
that
She's very
everyone
like
identifies-
stereotypical what you imagine like a female super sort of that look.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like, and I like the fact that like people underestimate her because she's
Mm-hmm.
like this petite like girl who wears leather and she's like blonde and she's like so small and then she kicks your ass and like don't change that. Don't make her look badass. Make her like show you she's a badass, right? Because that's her whole character. But yeah, so that's pretty much my other two addendums.
I
They
love
changed
Black
Black
Canary,
Canary.
yeah.
Black Canary is going to be Journey
Oh.
Smollett from
Who's that?
from the Friday Night Lights TV show. She was
Wait, so they're
she was Michael B.
changing her?
Jordan's love interest in
wait, they're changing her black?
Yeah.
Oh man, I just man.
I mean, her name is Black Canary. I
Yeah.
can see that change.
No, I can't see that
no
change
man.
because Black Canary
Oh,
Yeah, the
man.
blonde is so like
exactly. She's
It's
iconic,
so
right?
iconic.
She's iconic,
No.
right?
Well, let's see. How, is there like?
I think
source
it'll
material?
still work though. It'll still work in the context
No,
of it.
they're definitely gonna make her like a badass, like on the surface, and it's like, oh, whatever.
do-
We'll see how it is, I
Yeah,
guess.
I'm not too enthused about
Man.
it. Like I really think that they should have just
No, and I loved it
maintained
because she
that.
was trained by the cougar or something. Like she was trained by
Wildcat.
a black guy,
Wildcat,
right?
yeah.
Like he was black, right?
No,
And
no. Well, the
I mean,
comic
he
books
still
he was
have
white.
blonde hair.
in
Comic books, he was white.
the Justice League
Oh,
show, he was
yeah.
black.
Justice League Unlimited?
I think so.
No, he
Yeah,
was
she
still
still
white.
has
Oh,
blonde
was
hair,
it? Yeah,
Chris.
never mind.
She still has blonde hair.
A black girl with blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beyonce.
Like so, she paints it, right? She like dyes it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But in the show, like inside Arrow.
But you know she's not gonna act this. Anyways, whatever. We'll see how it is
We'll
first.
see when that comes out. That's a whole new
Yeah,
conversation.
so like when it doesn't affect her behavior. Okay, so like let's talk about like Titans for a second. So when they changed Starfire black, I was like, okay, as long as she acts like Starfire. She did not act like Starfire.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Holy
Starfire's
shit.
supposed to be her whole thing is supposed to be she's like all friendly and like everyone
No,
thinks she's
and
weird.
naive, and like she's
Yeah,
strong in her
she's
own
supposed to be
way.
naive.
And she's
Oh.
naive. And she was
But-
not any of that. And I'm like,
Oh,
why?
that's
Wait,
so
wait, wait, wait,
disappointing.
wait. But they start like when the story kicks off, Starfire has got like amnesia,
Yeah.
right? Doesn't remember who she is, right? She like you meet her when she's like at a hotel with this
Right.
rich German guy, and like I think she killed him or some shit.
Probably.
And that's basically the jump off point, right? And the story, the past season ends with her realizing that she's an alien. And
I haven't finished
there's a
season
Oh fuck, sorry, bro.
No, don't worry, don't worry.
I want to.
Shit.
I,
I mean,
haven't
obviously
watched
she
this
finds
either.
out
It
she's an
sounds
alien,
cool.
obviously.
Yeah. She's
But
gonna.
but I think honestly, I think what they should have done is they should have done the orange face paint and the markings on her. Like, because I think having an alien
Yeah.
in the context of an alien in a DC program is what makes DC DC. Like,
No, and it's like it's so her character. Like she was just like she had her own like sexual identity.
She was
a-
like she was
she
like
was a-
she was like everybody
she's a
like
fucking flirt.
misunderstood her. She's like
was a flirt,
she's like
dude.
Yeah, she's
like,
a flirt. Yeah,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
by kind of by accident. She doesn't mean to be. A
No, no, no.
flirt.
And the thing is, like, it's perfect for her
Yeah,
because
yeah.
she's like, hey, you want to have sex? You just had sex with him. So what? I
Yeah.
don't belong to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that. And none of that was there.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, you just rewrote her. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
When-
I'm not watching this.
when she gets introduced in I think it was the Judas Contract, the animated DC film, like she literally kisses she literally kisses Robin hello, like full open mouth. Like it's like, hi, nice to meet
Yeah.
you. Like
So one of my favorite comics actually now is Red Hood and the Outlaws. I don't know if you guys ever read it, but it's pretty much Red Hood, Red Arrow, or Arsenal at this point, and her and Starfire, and she like sleeps with both of them, and they're both like, what's going on? And she's like, I don't belong to either of you. Like you don't own me. So it was like this like really cool thing, and she's, at the same time she's like naive about Earth culture
That
and
was
everything.
like my life.
So nice. So it's like I wanted that on screen. You didn't give me that on screen. Okay, so I'm not like that's not my Starfire then. So yeah.
cool,
Anyways, continue.
cool. Well, I think we've hit the end point on this conversation, but it's been good. It's been really good. I really wanted to get to a place where we were talking about the merits of storytelling because I think that's the most important thing. I really, really do. And as important as representation is, and it is important, and I want to see people represented accurately, and I do want to see. I definitely don't want another Ancient One scenario with Tilda Swinton. Like they really took a gamble by making that move. It should have been, a Nepalese Asian male in that role, just to be accurate. But, and they whitewashed that role for sure. And I don't think they'll ever do that again. That's for sure. I think representation is important, but so is storytelling. And if you can give me a well-developed, well-dimensioned female character or character of from the LGBTQ community or person of color, I'm interested. Like I don't know about you guys,
And I think
but
we're ready for that.
100%.
As,
Yeah,
as
and
a
I-
people, I think we're ready for
And
that.
I think
right?
it's that, and also the ability to be like, listen, like they're gonna mess up, like we're gonna have to fail, and I hope
That's
that
a good
these
point.
studios keep putting money behind it and don't think that like, oh well, we failed,
Yeah.
no point in trying again.
Yeah.
You know, like I
Yeah.
really want to see these characters, and it's gonna take a while to get these things right, and I think we've seen a lot of cases where it has been done right.
Yeah.
I just really hope we keep pushing towards
Yeah.
it, and
That's a
and
really
I
good
think we
point.
all agree with storytelling. Like storytelling
Yeah.
is obviously the basis, and that's why we love what we love.
yeah, but that has to be like, to me, that has to be just as important as representation. So, and that's why I have a problem with people just yelling on Twitter about let's gender swap this guy, let's do this, let's do that, right? I'm like, no, like don't do it that way. Like,
or like ask why. Like, is there
Yeah.
is there a story reason?
yeah,
Like
do you,
the
do you
the
have a good
stories that I
story reason
hate
for that? Yeah,
Like the stories that I hate that like I read, it's like when I read all of these things that we should do this, we should do that, and not once did they mention why it's good for the story and why
That
like
pisses
it's
me off.
essential to
I
the character.
often
It's
find
like
though it's studios who are saying these things more than
I
like
think
Yeah.
the
Twitter.
why is because they want
No,
the
I-
character to, they want other people to relate to the character. I think that is
right.
the
Okay, so
why.
like that,
Yeah.
my problem is like my problem with the articles that I read that I don't like is they never say the why. They'll just say let's do this because it's whatever. Like so like obviously if they have a nuanced reason for it, yeah, that's all I've been saying all night is like yeah, obviously there's a story writing reason, multi-layered reason for it, absolutely, right? So yeah. Anyways,
I think that's why the X-Men have been so popular, because like anybody can identify with the X-Men.
and they
right?
were diverse and they were outcasts as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, I think it needs to be a balance. It needs to be, everything needs to be as equally important. Obviously it's not going to be perfect. I'm hoping that the Black Widow film is going to be a huge success, because
it will, man, it will.
Because
just the fight scenes, it will.
I hope so.
she's a great character, and I want to see her move further.
So awesome.
Although I don't know how far they're going to go with her because she's dead.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really
Spoiler.
cool. I think we're
Endgame
going to see some
spoiler.
cool
Sorry,
stuff.
guys.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so we appreciate you taking the time to sit down and listen to us and sit down at the table with us and hear what we had to say. And as you can tell, we're very passionate about these things, and we're looking forward to bringing you more episodes. And it's not just going to be about this kind of stuff all the time. We got some fun stuff cooked up. So yeah, so this is Frank.
Christina.
This has been Saba.
And Chris. Also, I'd like to apologize about my audio quality for the first episode. I'll do better. Signing off.
No problem. And I think Saba should apologize in advance for.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I've been moving around a lot. It's been so worked up.
You're taking over my
She was
bad
making
quality.
eye
Yeah.
contact with
She
all
is.
of
She's
us.
making eye
I'm
contact.
really staring them down.
She's
So.
giving us all these steamy looks, guys. It's getting out of hand.
It's all right. I can't help it.
I'm gonna send her an email with some sexual harassment
Oh.
clauses.
I was going to say keep it appropriate. You
All right,
already
guys.
didn't.
Well, next episode, we look forward to having you here, and eventually we are going to turn this into a call-in show, because I know for sure that I'm going to make some enemies out there, and I'm okay with that. And that's why I wanted to do this. I wanted to talk to people and
Come at me.
yeah, come at me. And I wanted to hear what people have to say, and I want to hear what you have to say. And I'm a pretty easy guy. I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I'm easy to talk to. I'm not going to call you names. Unless you go like full social justice warrior on me, then we might have some fun with that. But yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Bye.
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 Yo.